You know, every end of the spectrum, I think, kind of students. And I think for whatever reason, math is great, but I think there might be something more about it that people can feel, I don't know what the right word is, embarrassed or something that, you know, the smaller is more comfortable. So I guess that wasn't a fair question about the number. I just didn't know if a half-time person would help or a full-time person would help. And you know, we're not saying we can grant these things. Yes, okay.
Yeah, any addition would help.
Yes, okay.
But we're not talking about addition, we're talking about cuts.
Yeah. Well, we are talking about not replacing.
Yeah.
I'm saying any addition from the -1 FTE we're talking about.
Right. Okay. Anything else?
Do you do a lot of differentiation in any of your math classes, maybe your level 2 classes, where the larger class sizes are really a deterrent to that?
Well, there are things like station activities. There are some we have co-taught classes. You have 2 teachers in there.
Right.
So it varies.
Yeah,
we do.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Speaking of the rest of STEM, or another part of STEM, you have to share. You have to share.
Yeah.
All right. So,
excuse me, Pat. What do you want to ask?
So just a quick question. Are we going through this entire package tonight?
No, this is the last one tonight. The rest of the next one.
social
studies. Oh, sorry, social studies. Sorry. No, you don't do the whole thing. But you do social. I divided them between the 2 nights.
That makes sense. I was getting worried.
But I asked everybody to get their slides done for tonight so that they're completed. So I'm sorry. I remembered social. You're on my list.
it's the smallest budget, so I'll be quick.
That's okay. We want you to take your time.
I was looking at the STEM aspect of it. You kind of just don't go with the flow there.
Okay, so I'm Alexa Mitchell, the Science Department Coordinator. I'm also very proud of my department. We have spent quite a bit of time focused on NGSS, or the Next Generation Science Standards, which are national science standards that Connecticut adopted. We have realigned all of our curricula to these standards, but it is a massive overhaul, both in assessment and instruction perspective. So we spent a lot of time this year really focused on redesigning our assessments to be more performance-based. We're also integrating some formative assessments that mimic what the new state test will look like. We've been using the state resources, and we've also, a few of us have been trained in how to write those types of questions, and we're sharing that with the department. We're also very focused on problem solving and inquiry and hands-on, and providing students many different modes to learn and really do science. We're focused on students doing science as opposed to learning about science. And we have a problem solving tools because of that. With that theme, the middle school has been really fortunate to have a new interactive text this year. They're thrilled with it. It's been really important in helping students to grasp the phenomenon-based curriculum, which is also one of our sort of science department initiatives. And phenomenon-based learning is really about learning the concepts of science through actual phenomena, things that they might witness or see every day. So this text is based on that phenomenon sort of idea. It also comes with formative assessments that give students immediate feedback in a explanatory way, so it provides students with information about why they might have gotten a question wrong, or how they might rethink the question. They have virtual labs as part of this text, and a lot of other interactive components, animations. The students can highlight on the e-text itself. They can access it anywhere. It's really, really a wonderful resource and important in helping us sort of build those skills at the middle school level, so that when they enter high school, they've already been exposed to this type of learning. So at the high school, we're also using had last year. We also have a number of elective courses for students that give them real-world, hands-on, experiential learning opportunities. For example, we have physiology, medical careers, geology, astronomy, neurology, genetics, environmental science, and so students are able to go out and do field work. We have field trip opportunities where they go to different sites. They participate in activities with elementary schools. They participate in activities with the DEP. And the next bullet point on there that I'm arriving at now is that the medical careers class has many opportunities for experiential learning. They actually, the students host a blood drive, or a few blood drives throughout the year, and we continue to have one of the largest school-run blood drives in the state. And because we're so successful, the Red Cross asked our students to host a leadership conference in which they taught other students how to do this. That course also has a number of opportunities where students can go and shadow medical professionals and work in or get some experience in college labs. We've also brought in some professionals to speak with students about different career opportunities. We have a genetic counselor, an EMT, a paramedic, advanced professional nurses. And then we also have a number of advanced courses where students are able to receive college credit. We have 2 physics classes and an environmental science class that all are aligned with UConn, so they can get direct UConn credit through those courses. Our medical careers and our anatomy classes are aligned with MCC. And then we also have all 5 of the basic science courses, and the students perform well on those tests, so they can receive college credit. So the objectives for the science department are really to maintain our programming. We feel very strongly that the students should be able to really do science as they move through our program. And so we want to continue to provide these experiential learning opportunities. We want them to be able to actually do field work and to step into some real-world situations. We want to be able to provide a range of electives and allow them to explore courses that they might be interested in and start to think about what they might want to do in the future. While they're at RHAM, we want to be able to provide opportunities for inquiry where students are able to design their own experiments, refine those experiments as they go, build models, concepts, that sort of thing, which requires materials and equipment. We want to be able to maintain what we have and then also provide additional materials when needed. We also have been incorporating technology, using Chromebooks, Profware, and other scientific equipment, and we'd like to continue to do that as well as the industry expands and we're really thinking about that. Any questions?
Just have one quick question. You said maintain your current program. Does that mean your current program you would want to grow, or?
I mean, ideally, we would like to, but I think given the current budget climate, this is the more realistic goal. We've looked into offering additional elective courses. In the past, there haven't been enough students to realistically run them. We are, still sort of throwing out some of these elective opportunities and seeing if the students tend to gravitate towards them, but it comes down to how many students we can get in there to make it a realistic opportunity. We also have some clubs that we've started that we might expand into courses in the future. Again, sort of seeing where the interest goes with that before really jumping in at first.
Are your classes full?
Yes, for the most part. There's a few that, like some of the advanced, well actually no, some of those are really full too. There's probably a handful that are not full, but I know that there's, like for example, one of my classes is overfull. I actually don't have enough desks for the students in the room, and I have to have students at lab stations. Mm-hmm. So for the most part, they are full, yeah.
I was going to ask the same question, that I've heard that, you know, that some, there aren't enough desks. So what is set up for desks? Is it 20 or what is it?
20.
So if it goes over 20, then they go to a student, or as many as exceeds that number would go to the lab station.
Yeah, my room, I mean, you've seen my room before, it's a little bit different than some of the others. I can only put tables in a like single file line down the middle, and there's really no other room unless I create a fire hazard in there. So, so they'll go to the lab stations, which are on the side of the room.
And remind us, is science, are you at the same level of staffing next year?
Yeah.
Is there any change with department coordinators or that role?
I don't think so.
No, okay.
I apologize if I heard you wrong. This room is really bad for me. But you said there in the past have been new science offerings that had enough interest.
That did not.
That did not have
Did
enough
not have
interest.
enough. They had interest, but not enough to justify running.
Well, that was my question, and then I heard wrong. I apologize. I thought you said there was. I thought you meant that there were classes or with enough interest, but it wasn't offered because of whatever reason.
No.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
I'd like to piggyback on that and say, what is your best guesstimate on why there's not people signing up for the electives? Is it a case maybe of scheduling where if I'm involved in music or art, I can't fit in these electives? Or what do you think is your best
I
guess?
think in some cases that has been the issue. In a lot of other cases, the courses are pretty specific, like exercise physiology could be an example. And so a student who might be interested in that might also be interested in the anatomy course. And so it's a really much more specialized course. We also had an English science, sort of environmental science and writing course. Again, a rather specific class. And I don't think it's that students aren't interested in science. I think it's that they gravitate more towards like the survey courses or the AP courses, and that just tends to be where our population goes.
And so labs are pretty expensive, and there's a lot, and to stay current can be costly. Maybe a grade scale, A, B, C, D, how are you doing it, do you think, in terms of keeping current with your equipment and your labs?
Who am I judging where I'm up against? So, I mean, I think that we are doing a really good job of keeping current with what we have to work with. I would imagine that if you compared our equipment and materials to some of the other wealthy districts, that we probably are nowhere near the resources that some of those districts have.
And do you think that impacts those that want to continue on to go to science college-wise? Do they need remedial help when they get there because of this?
I don't think they need remedial help because of the teachers, really. I think conceptually and problem-solving wise, they can enter a college class and be fully capable. I think that they might have had maybe slightly fewer opportunities with advanced lab equipment. In that case, I would say that, I would rather provide them with those opportunities, but I don't think it's going to make them unsuccessful at the college level.
And how often are students, I know of a case where somebody started with level 1 biology and was told, you're going to be bored, and then wasn't able to get into the honors because it was the 20 seats that's sort of influencing. So this person had to stay in level 1 because it wasn't a seat in the class.
That is one of our, and going back to the other question earlier, that is one of our biggest challenges, is that the classes, especially within like the earlier grades, the 9th and the 10th grades of the high school, are pretty full, and it does provide limited opportunities for them to move around.
So is it safe to sort of sum up and say you need more labs? Do you have enough that you actually need to have a second lab?
Labs meaning more like
Like-
rooms.
Yeah, rooms that are equipped that way. Are you meeting that need then?
If we had more labs, we would also need more teachers. We have enough classrooms for every teacher. We're fortunate in that way. But in order to provide more wiggle room for that type of movement, we'd have to offer more classes that weren't at full capacity.
So it's not a huge demand. You don't have enough to have another 20 section. Okay, that answers my question.
It depends year to year and it depends class to class. This year, I mean, for the biology classes, it would have been nice to have some wiggle room. Like I said, the earlier grades tend to be rather full and wiggle room is not something that we have a lot of usually.
But that, again, we're back in that pathway that they fall off that ladder. But it's harder for them to catch up once they don't get into, say, honors in the lower levels. It's harder for them to get caught up later on. So those sort of not having wiggle room down here is really impacting up here as well.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks.
I just would like to emphasize the point that Ms. Wilson just made. I know I personally had to make a very quick decision on the first day of school if I were taking one level of my science class versus the other to ensure that I was in a place in a class. So I think that definitely can be a concern, so that should be addressed. And again, as Dan pointed out earlier, that every student is ensured the opportunity to learn to the best of their ability.
Okay, are there follow-up questions? Just jump in if you do, kind of. Okay, I do then. So, is there a number for not enough interest in the electives? Would that be, say, under 10 or?
It's usually around 10 or so.
Okay. How would we know how we stack up with other districts or state-of-the-art or surrounding districts, or how would we find that out?
I actually recently thought about this, and I would probably talk with the administration to see if they had any particular connections, but I could reach out to other coordinators and just discuss, sit down and have a conversation about what types of materials and equipment that they have. I have connections with other teachers and surrounding districts, that type of thing.
Because Mrs. Wilson is making me think, and I know students for sure who are in a big math class and a big number-wise science class, and they're okay, but are they excellent? And same as Mrs. Goodwin said, not because of teaching or anything, but just sheer space and access to the teacher because of dividing up. So as we are developing our STEM abilities and things, I think these are some interesting questions for programming and for some other things. And your space is relatively small, so it's difficult to do. Okay, thank you. Anything? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Jen, thank you. So you need to be entertaining.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jennifer Stahoviak. I'm the Social Studies Coordinator. I did get permission to put together a brief handout for you folks in an effort to keep my slides minimal. In my excitement of putting this together and excitement over the fact we now offer AP Government and Politics, I inadvertently put the enrollment for that twice. Please recognize that the second course up here should be Advanced Placement U.S. History. Similarly to everyone else, I'm incredibly proud of our department. We have a lot of really great teachers. We've lost a few positions in recent years, but we've managed to maintain our high level of rigor. In addition, offer our comprehensive course load, as well as keep our class enrollment quite high. Our advanced placement enrollment scores continue to increase. I put the last year's score on there. Please note, at the time, we did not offer an advanced placement in American government politics, but we still had students that took it. This year, we're offering it for the first time, and we had 47 students enrolled in the course. And the instructor expects scores at multiple 4s and 5s. The kids are doing very, very well based off of early preliminary data from our midterm exams. We also offer college credit through our other course electives, like the criminal justice class offered through the Manchester Community College. We like to incorporate a hands-on approach to our teaching and learning, whether it be in the middle school with our inquiry and social studies classes, taking off-site visits to the street park, or working with mapping, cartography, compasses, etc. Some students went off to Millstone, nuclear power plant, just trying to incorporate various facets of the environment within the social studies curriculum as well. At the high school, our MCC students, or our criminal justice students, head off to the prison in an effort to 21st century scare straight, if you will. We also, our middle school students head to Washington, D.C. for their public units. They go to Old Sturbridge Village for their colonial era units as well. So we just really try to make our discipline as relevant as possible, and we make every available effort to reach all students. We tend to always focus so much on our high flyers and their path to get there, to the collegiate level, but there are a lot of students that may not be ready for that path yet, and we hope that the social sciences will be an outlet to get them there, or at least a stepping stone for areas of interest. And we're very confident that our discipline complements multiple different disciplines and areas of interest, from engineering to the health field, etc. And our students routinely engage in acts of kindness. We have some really amazing teachers in our department who really sort of foster good citizenry within our students, whether it's working with Path to Homelessness Project in the 8th grade, or taking part in the Veterans Day Assembly, which has been so wonderful. It's made the news. And our teachers also dedicate their time beyond the school day, whether it be extracurriculars. Our Model UN this year had 97 students join. Our mock trial had 33. Our teachers do ultimate frisbee, which, surprisingly enough, is the only sort of non-professional school style team, but we managed to play all of the very wealthy schools throughout the state and kind of hold our own. From Ski Club, we have teachers who do the after-school homework club 3 days a week. We have coaches who dedicate time, and gosh forbid our kids make it to the finals. It's like their season never ends. So they're working really hard, and they're working to reach the whole student, social, emotional, cognitive, etc. And our students like us. They really, really like us. We've added 9 new courses to our department within the last 4 years. I was hired in 2013, and I'm very proud to say we've added 9 courses. We transitioned our grade 7 from a sort of dated, ancient to a more contemporary geography, which is a very malleable unit that consistently changes. All new courses we've added, we've done so without a textbook. Our current AP Government Politics class, we were able to, Jerry Diddy was able to procure for us a last-minute online text that we didn't know was available at the time. It was just within like a week before school. And unfortunately, I had already budgeted the previous year, but I didn't want to add a text because we knew that the exam is changing. I have 2 instructors heading to Taft this summer to learn about the new change for the AP Government Politics. I'm not sure if we'll be moving towards a textbook for that, but right now we're fortunate that we have the online one that we were able to get. And our kids love our classes. Our enrollment is high. Unfortunately, we did lose 2 electives that were 6th assignments in the spring semester. We lost a full section of economics and price of freedom, but we were able to kind of put the kids elsewhere, and hopefully next year some of those folks will be able to take some of those classes again. But our classes are maxed out, they're full, they like us, they're taking them, and we're very grateful for that. And we're more than really just a pretty textbook. We've really transitioned away from the books. We focus a lot on other modalities, whether it's visual. In some classes, we even use manipulatives. We don't have like beakers and fun stuff like that that we can break as easily. But we do have cotton for when we talk about the cotton gin. So we have well, the kids don't understand taking out the short-haired fibers, the challenge that must have been, and good old Eli Whitney and the increase of slavery, unfortunately. So we're more than just a textbook, and we're really trying to reach out to our students so that they understand the value of the social sciences as well. As far as our budget objectives, purchase instructional materials necessary to support teaching and learning for all of our classes, all of our students. I'm going to make a cognizant effort next year to reach out to our special education co-teachers prior to budget development to see if there's other additional resources we can support. The one-to-one initiative has had a profound impact on our program. We're so grateful. I mean, we were scrambling. We were grateful we had a third computer cart we hid in a classroom before we all got to do one-to-one. And now it's instrumental because we don't really use text that much anymore. So having access to all the online things, and the Library Media Center has been really great because they've incorporated in their budget a lot of my periodicals, my online newspapers, and the databases that they maintain that are not in my budget. So that's been very helpful. We're looking to purchase additional AP resources to support increased enrollment. We were sort of shocked to find we had over 40 students enrolled in AP psychology this year. So we had to kind of scramble at the last minute to purchase some textbooks, some used textbooks. And the good news is they were pretty cheap because they're so old, no one's buying them anymore. So Amazon had a lot of, in their inventory for us. We're still in a bit of a challenge with our AP US. I just purchased the books 2 years ago, and they're putting a new first page in, so now I can no longer get those books. We attempted to purchase them at the beginning of the year because the enrollment I had in May changed. More students added over the summer, and we didn't have enough books. So it was really crazy. I wasn't able to actually get them, but things moved around, and a few students withdrew from the class. So things worked out pretty well, but I will have to reallocate funding next year to try to secure a few books in the event where we run into that situation again for the APUSH kids. So I'm going to have to reevaluate current budgetary requests to support additional needs that have arisen. We scrambled to put our budgets together in November, on the auspices that we might need things. So we try to put things in as placeholders to procure funding for things, but things change. We're redoing all of our curriculum next year. It's part of our 5-year plan. So as teachers start to look at that this summer, I anticipate they may need additional changes in some of the things that they requested earlier, and I'm pretty happy to accommodate that as well. And then I'm hoping to be able to continue working with the Media Center to support and maintain a lot of our existing subscriptions and access to the online databases. If we end up using the same AP Gov book, we do own it now, the online text. I'm hopeful that it'll align well enough with the new exam that's coming forward next year. Our psychology, AP psychology, isn't changing much by way of College Board in the coming years, but it's my hope to be able to purchase some supplemental resources since the text is old. The instructor was able to find some AMSCO books, and they're less than $20 a piece. But unfortunately for AP Psychology, it's one of the few holdouts that are very content-driven. So it's a large volume of content. So to have that extra resource for the kids just to prepare, and at less than $20, you really can't, complain. I used it when I taught AP US years ago, and of that similar text, and it was really helpful for my students as well, in addition to their actual textbook. So our teachers work so hard. My classes are packed. I expect them to be packed again next year. They love our department, we love our kids, and we're just really doing the best we can to reach all of them, even the ones that may not know where they're going yet. Any questions? I think I stuck to my.
We'll start with Mr. Tremont, Mrs. Shea.
This is good. the 5-year curriculum plan? When will you write your curriculum? When do you do that?
We are slated after the fiscal year July 1st. We're hoping to have all of our curriculum, under contract. So we'll have teachers in the department that will write the curriculum. For us, it's not all rewrites. We are offering a new course next year, an abnormal psychology course, so that will be a new one. We are also offering the inquiry grade 9, but it'll use the same global studies curricular that we have. But I suspect there'll be, it's a different approach to teaching and learning, so there will be things I'll need to probably purchase for that. But yes, we're going by 5 years now, it's my understanding, so I think it's going to be math, the math department, and social studies that will be revising next year.
The textbooks, you said there was a page problem? What was that?
We had a challenge with the AP US history textbook. The enrollment, when I purchased the books 2 years ago, our enrollment was lower. And these aren't the types of books at, $100-something a piece. You can just buy a ton extra thinking, well, maybe we'll fill up because budgets are tight. And so then last year when I got the enrollment, we had almost exactly enough. And then come August, we had, 46 students or 47 students enrolled, and we had 43 books kind of thing. So we attempted to purchase some from Amazon, and it was a bad sale. Amazon went after the textbook, the fake textbook company, whoever told us they could get it, who actually were charging higher than I paid originally brand new, but because it's no longer available in print form, since it's offering a new one that just came out in December, I could only get the online text, but you only get it for 1 year, and it was $70, and it wasn't economically feasible when I could, for a few dollars more, get an actual hard copy of the text and then have it. So I'm hopeful this summer, after the exam, a lot of schools require their students to purchase the books. We don't at RHAM, so I'm hoping there'll be a flood of it on Amazon, so I'll be able to get less expensive copies.
Do we do book buyback?
We do have a book buyback. There's a gentleman that comes in. The problem is some of our textbooks are so old that I couldn't even send them to the third world if I wanted to for money. Most of the ones they want to buy are the samples that I get from the textbook companies that are, $150, $160. I have sold our old civics books. We don't really use a book for civics anymore, a few years back, and I was actually able to keep that money for the department, so that was really helpful. It was like $400 I could buy new stuff with, so it's kind of like Christmas in November.
Okay. I have a few. Help us to understand what the lost sixth assignment meant this year for economics and the price of freedom, because we hear that, but we don't, at least I don't fully understand.
For our economics class, we went from having an enrollment last school year to about 16 kids, and then 83 students registered for economics this year. But we're so packed, I could only offer 2 sections. And that second section was actually going to be a 6th assignment this spring, but because of budgetary restraints, we took away the 6th assignment for that, and Price of Freedom, which was another elective. And it enabled us to keep a civics, which was a graduation requirement.
But, so right now, those classes could hypothetically be running.
They would have been running, but they're no longer. We lost those 2, and then we had a year-long global studies hybrid course that was also a 6th assignment, and that one went away, and those students went and just kind of transitioned back into regular global studies.
Why did we lose them? Was it due to our budget?
It was budget. I mean, we had the deficit, and we were just, Dr. Law was working in her capacity to try to, manage that, and so it was one of those things where it was additional anyway, so we lost them. So hopefully those students, I believe the seniors got to keep the courses first that were enrolled in it, and then if you were a junior, you'll hopefully get it next year. So.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess I didn't fully understand that before, so thank you for that clear explanation. The next thing, it sounds like English and social studies, the departments work very closely and collaboratively with the media specialist. And I've heard that through kids as well, like, you know, that we got this, whatever, new resource or
We do. Well, before I came to RHAM, when I first started, I think I had $140 for the high school, you know, and $76 for the middle school. There was really no social studies budget, so I've been trying to build up, and mine is still, in comparison to everyone else, is quite small. I mean, we're very fortunate that we don't need all of the things to make it work for us. But it would be nice down the line to consider bringing in more. We've been lucky this year. We've had George Jepson come in. We've had a former Connecticut Supreme Court Justice come in. So we're getting people who are coming in, you know, voluntarily, but in the future, it might be nice to have a little bit of extra funding to build in, and, you know, where I don't have to spend on certain things that the Media Center has been covering for us, maybe I could reallocate for additional things, like more speakers.
I mean, just so we understand, how important is the media specialist to your department?
Well, I mean, she was a former teacher in our department, and maybe she'll be another teacher in our department next year, who knows? But she's very familiar with the curriculum, so it's been very helpful, like managing the live binders that some of our teachers use, and you know, just she's been instrumental in the district's professional development, and she's been helpful to us because she's a former social studies teacher, so she kind of knows what we need. And those databases, I can't fathom actually adding them to my budget, and nor do I have the technological capacity to maintain and oversee them. So it really just makes sense that it would be in the Media Center budget anyway, because it covers so many other facets. Like the classroom video on demand and stuff. I'm just grateful that she has them available, and so for us, she's been super helpful. Like getting those last minute textbooks, I didn't have the money for them, and I couldn't do it. She started with them on the Kindle, and then we were actually able to get them on the Chromebook, and now we own them, so I don't have to worry about repurchasing an online piece to that. So I was very grateful. So. But I've been pretty fiscally conservative with my budgeting. I just budget what we need. I mean, having the computers alone has just helped us with teaching and finding things. And I mean, everything, since we don't have textbooks, we rely so heavily on online sources. So we've drastically reduced our carbon footprint just in photocopies, having our Chromebooks.
I guess I just have a statement before, which is, it is so very apparent that all of our department chairs are not only thinking about the kids, but you're understanding this budget climate and are doing creative things to operate in as fiscally responsible way as possible. And I applaud that. And it scares me a little. I'll just say that's what we've all, our state. It's nothing about RHAM. Thank you so much for doing that, but that's where our state and everything is at, is that's always in the back of people's minds to not even ask for things because they know that it might not be
I can say though, I feel very grateful because I know that I've taught in other districts as well, and the budgetary process is incredibly micromanaged. And I think there's a lot of fluidity here at RHAM, and I have the capacity to pick my own supplies. It's not just, well, we had $300 for this last year, so we'll get it for this year. Like, I can clearly articulate what I need, and I've been very fortunate that I really haven't had cuts. I mean, granted, my budget's always been so small, but you know, I've been very fortunate to be able to ask for what I want, and we asked for textbooks so infrequently that it hasn't been an issue. We've had a lot of support from the board. We've had support from, you know, Dr. Saminsky in the past. So.
No, and I think I'm just thinking of anybody. I have had some recent conversations with folks, and you know, I know one of our largest towns in the region that there are folks who think RHAM isn't mindful of dollars and cents, and clearly everybody is all I'm saying. And, you know, it's very,
I live in Wyndham. I know what our budget is.
yeah.
So we think in dollars.
Yeah.
It's like pennies.
I know, yeah.
I feel very fortunate. I feel fortunate. I mean, could we always use more money? Would I love to order, you know, my psychology text at $240 a pop? Sure, Myers is great. It's the best book out there, but I'll take Amsco for 20 if I can get that right now.
Okay.
Judy actually has a couple of the questions I was thinking of, but one question I had is a little more detail on those 3 sections that you couldn't hold because of the 6-year assignments. Those were full classes?
The Global Studies was the hybrid. It was our first year piloting, so we had 14 students, I believe, in that class. But I think the economics had 24 or 25 students, and the Price of Freedom had maybe about 20, a little over 20. But we were getting rid of them. Like the original 6th assignment was an extra section of civics, because our civics classes are always 25, 26 kids in them, so they've been pretty heavy. So we had added that as a 6th assignment for this year. But when we needed to take away the assignments, we had to take away the elective to keep the graduation requirement, because we physically couldn't put 25 civics kids in already full civics classes. So it just made sense to keep the civics.
Mr.
No, thank you very much.
Mrs. Wilson.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity. Even the best for last, I guess. So,
Is that it, Dr. Long?
That
or
is
the-
for the department coordinators for tonight. Next time, we will have world language, PE, health, family consumer science, guidance, technology, and media.
Can you, so what is next time, world language, say that again, please?
World language, family consumer science, PE, and health, that's all one person.
Yeah.
Guidance,
Yeah.
technology, and the media center, media tech.
Okay, thank you. And so that's the rest of this packet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
There's 2 slides in there that aren't done yet for one department, but you'll have those from next time when we meet.
Okay, thank you. So then are you responding to the board questions?
I am.
Okay.
And I will pass these out while I switch over to the PowerPoint.
A lot of questions this week.
No, mostly follow-ups from the last meeting.
Okay.
Okay, everyone Cleveland need to go. I don't know what you guys feel like the rest of the day. 9:15. If I was your mother, I wouldn't there.
Use this opportunity. Thank you. Your input was great tonight, both of you. Thank you so much.
Wait a second, she has the words back now.
I'm sorry for you.
Thank you. See you later.
Back in the possessed right now.
Well, sure.